Today I'm going to show you how you can create a really fun summer picture from just using paper, a ruler, pencil, some crayons, and some markers. We're really only going to use straight lines except for one time when we make a circle like the sun. So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to you're going to lay your paper out in front of you so that it looks like a rectangle lying on its side. So it's not a tall rectangle, but a wide rectangle. And then you're going to go to the upper left-hand corner. You're going to place your ruler down so that your pencil is right in the corner and your ruler is right to the left of your pencil. And you're going to draw your first line. Now this will be one of the spokes on the edge of your umbrella. So you don't want it to come all the way down to the bottom of your page. You want it to come about an inch or so up from the bottom. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so that's one of the lines of my spokes of my umbrella. Now I'm going to move over and make another spoke. Remember, an umbrella is a circular shape. So this line that I'm drawing now won't go as far as the line I drew previously. It'll stop shorter so that it'll give that circular effect. So I start in the corner and I come down. Again, I start in the corner. And if it's not exact, that's totally okay. If your lines aren't long enough, that's okay. You can change it. If they're too long, you can change it. So I have probably enough spokes right now. So now I'm going to make the circular shape of my umbrella. Now remember, the umbrella has hoops that go the opposite way. So for example, from this point to this point, I'm going to make just a little, almost half circle. From this point to this point, I'm going to make a little, almost half circle. It's very subtle. From this point to this point, I am going to make another one. And from this point to this point, I'm going to make another one. Okay, so that's basically my beach umbrella. Now, in my beach scene, we're going to have sky, we're going to have water, and we're going to have sand. And how I'll draw those is with using straight lines. So my first straight line is going to be my watermark. I don't go inside the umbrella shape, but I draw a straight line from the umbrella to the side of the page. Now this will be sky, and this will be water. Now I want to draw a line similar to this or parallel to that. That will be showing me where my sand goes. So again, not drawing inside of the umbrella, but right to the right of the umbrella. I make a line going from one side of the page. I drew that on the ruler, from one side of the page to the other. So here we go. And that will be my sand. Now also in this beach scene, now that I have my sky, my water, and my sand, now I can put my base for my umbrella. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the middle point, but I'm not going to start my line there. I'm going to start it from when the umbrella stops, and I draw a line in the sand. I'm going to draw another line parallel to that. And that will be my base. And I'm going to draw little lines around it because it's sticking in the sand. And I sort of want to indicate where it interacts with the sand. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from using, just like we use this midpoint, I'm going to use the midpoint, or just like we use this center point as a focal point, I'm going to go to the right side and take that angle point, and I'm going to draw a line not through my sky and water and sand, but partially on my sand, I'm going to make a line that shows where my towel would be. And then I can just draw another line straight across. So as you can see, here we have the beach umbrella, we have the sky, we have the water, we have the sand, and we have a towel. If you want to make your towel more interesting with a design, like say stripes, you're going to go right back to that circular point in the upper right side, moving down, but keeping your ruler in that same center point. Make stripes on your towel. You want to make sure that the ruler's in the center point. And now we have the beginnings of a really cool picture. Now we can begin to add color. So I'm going to start with the umbrella. I'm going to, when I work with markers, I really try not to color everything so heavy, but that's just me. Feel free to color using markers, crayons, paints, whatever it is that you would like. So I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm going to go down and follow the line. Now if you mess up, you can always cover stuff with an outline magic marker or an outline pencil. So then because I don't like the coverage to be so heavy, then I don't color it in quite so solid. And now I'm going to move on to another spoke of my umbrella and color it green. And I'm going to use blue, or purple rather. And I'm going to use blue for the top. Okay, and now I'm going to use a brown or gold marker for the base of my umbrella. Now I'm going to start on my sand. I'm going to use several colors because I think that sand is multicolored. So I'm going to start with a light beige kind of color. And I'm actually not going to color too hard. I'm going to color very lightly because I want the sand to sort of be all of a combination of all of the colors, so I'm not going to put any one color too dark. So that's one color. I'm now using more of a mustardy color and going back in to the sand. Again, not super dark, just really lightly, so you can actually see both colors. And then there's some areas where they combine. And then I'm going to use this like peachy, like very, almost going toward pink. And I like to use a little bit of orange. And I use that the faintest of all. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of my sand. Now I want to move on to my water. And I'm going to use a combination of marker and crayon because it's such a big, expansive space. So I'm going to start with my blue marker and I'm going to draw my horizon line. And that's going to be my darkest color. And I'm going to pull that down a little bit. Okay. And now I'm going to take my next, one of my blue crayons, but it's of the two that I'm using, it's the darker one, and I'm going to go back into the area where the marker was, and I'm going to color dark in some spots, not as much, pull it down. And give some areas of color. And then I'm going to take my lightest blue that I'm using, which is almost turquoise, and I'm going to go back in and fill in all that blank white space to really give me my water. And you can go back in when you're done with any of the other colors. Like I feel like I want to go back in with the blue marker and define the space or the water a little more. And I also want to pull some of my water into my sand. You know how sometimes water will come up and creep up onto the sand? So I'm just going to start with my lighter color, put a little bit of the darker blue, and try to really change the shape of that from a straight line to more of a wavy line where the water came up. And then I want to really make sure my water comes up to my shore. All right. Now I'm ready to do my sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using yellow and orange, both crayons and markers. I'm going to, in the upper right hand corner, I'm going to draw a ball or a circular shape like the sun. Does not have to be perfect. I'm going to go into that with my yellow marker with the orange crayon to really give some depth to the sun. And then I'm going to use the orange crayon to very lightly and faintly draw out some sun rays, very lightly. And then I'm going to take my yellow crayon and I'm basically going to fill in my sky because it's a sunny day, so that sun is shining and I want you to feel that. I'm going to pull some of the yellow down into the water so you can see those sun rays shining onto the water. And now we're ready for our blanket. So I'm going to pick a few colors. I like red, so I'm going to use red. And I'm going to make all the stripes in the blanket or towel red. Alrighty then, now we can color in the different sections of a blanket, whatever colors that we might want. So I think I'm gonna go with purpley color, green and orange, let's see what else, maybe gray, blue. So I have an assortment of crayons. Going with what most appeals, I think I'll do gray up here. I think I'm going to go with a lime green here. Blue here. And orange in the last box. Now to really make this blanket or towel pop, I'm going to outline the shape of it in the gray that I used at the top. Right? And then here on the ends, I'm going to put fringe. You know, sometimes towels or those blankets, those like rugs that you use can have fringe. And this fringe is just little straight lines, little dashes. And there you have a beautiful summer picture using a ruler, straight lines, markers, and crayons.